what a north-south choke is, you're probably thinking, why would you do that in the gi? I get it all the time. And part of the reason being is that most people apply this choke with more emphasis on pulling someone's neck off than actually applying a choke. So we're gonna try to fix that today. So what will happen is, we'll end up here in like crossbody, or we'll end up in side control, right? You're all familiar with these positions for the most part. And the problem that I run into a lot with purple belt and below is chilling, right? And you've been under this before. What do people tend to do from here? Hold it forever. They just chill. So we don't want to be those people today. We're going to try to avoid that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start attacking from here. And the north-south position, there's not a ton of attacks. It's a good position, but there's a really, really nice choke there that's underutilized by a lot of players. So what we're going to do, we're going to start in a typical side control where I have a gable grip, or a butterfly clasp, excuse me, underneath Carl's shoulder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand, my left hand, the one that's under his head, and I'm going to just crunch on his biceps. Usually I'll move down to the elbow, but for now I'll do biceps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left knee and shin, and I'm going to drag right over it, like this. It's not comfortable, okay? It's right there along the inside of his elbow. Okay, now I'll put my hand back into position, and what I'm going to end up doing is a lasso, okay? A lasso kind of movement. So I'm going to take my right hand, and I'm going to go toward his hips. Why? Well, this is where you should be in the first place, right? A lot of you guys, when you get in this position, this is all you think about, right? You need to start working on that inside hip. If you keep your arm here on the inside hip, it's really hard for him to move, even if I don't have his arm trapped. Even if we're here, it's hard for him to turn into me without exposing a real nice, easy mount. So we're gonna do that. We're here, okay? I've got my arm right here by his hip. My hand's right here on the ground by his hip. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this left hand and I'm gonna lasso. And as I do that, I'm gonna sit on my hip, just like this. And I'm gonna take my left ear and rest it right on his chest. This is where people learn this choke and then start abandoning it, right? Because right now it doesn't feel like I have anything. I just have control over his head. Well, what'll happen is, more often than not, especially with somebody that knows what's going on when they're on the bottom, is he's gonna turn his head toward me. So his chin will actually face the other way. He'll turn into me like this. And a lot of times we have like a guy at our academy who's really, really good at this choke and at escaping this choke. So what'll happen is, I started realizing, to turn his head, all I have to do is make control. Like if I'm going to maintain control of one of his legs like this, I'll just start to pump like this until his head's in place. Did you see that? Let me show you again. He's going to turn his chin toward me, and I'm going to clamp, move my hips down, and pump until it's in place. It might take 3 tries. Okay. Now, what will happen is, on a good player, he's going to turn his head with me, and he's going to bridge over his left shoulder. And watch what happens. No good. So you have to be cognizant of that when you're doing this movement, because the first thing they'll do to bait you is turn that chin, because 1, it alleviates the choke completely. It's gone. It's not there. And 2, my action for that is pumping. So to avoid that problem, 1, I got to be aware of it, of course. 2, grab their pants, just like this. This is why the gi version of this is awesome. I can completely prevent him from rolling me. If he tries to roll me, really easy to stop him. So I've got his chin in position. It's lined up with the back of my armpit, okay? And I've got this grip. Eventually I'm gonna have to have both hands, all right? Because a one-arm north-south is pretty hard. So I've got like a cross-body type position with my lower body. All I'm gonna do, again, my left ear is gonna touch his chest, and then I'm gonna take my left leg, and I'm gonna sit down like this. I'm gonna grab my hand in a guillotine grip, I'm gonna walk toward his head. It's really nasty, yeah. Now, one more time. So this all translates to no-gi really well. Just the only problem you're going to run into is that pants grab. So for those of you that are wondering about the no-gi variation, all that changes, this stuff's the same, right? So I'm just going to run through this again. I'm here, clasp, grab. I don't like grabbing far out like this. I like right here or right here on the biceps. So you can see, come and see. I get my shin over, I regain control of his head, like so. If it's a gi, I'll just grab the material right here. Again, free up your inside hand against their hip. On 3, 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna lasso, and I'm gonna sit my hip out like this. If his head turns into me, which I want all of you practicing, so the guys that are on the bottom, guys or girls, on the bottom, you're gonna turn your chin toward the person, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so guy or girl on top, grab the pants. 1, 2, 3. Get it in. Okay, try not to hurt your partner too much. Okay, when you're ready, you have to release. So you're gonna plant your ear, release, guillotine grip, and tiptoe toward their head. Now, the no-gi variation, here's the difference. Instead of gripping the pants, cup the leg. That's it. It's the same thing. And you have to let go, just like before. Okay, walk toward them on your tiptoes. Cool? Try it. 1, 2, 3.